Hey, welcome to another episode of Greater Boston Paranormal TV. I'm Don DeCristofaro. I'm sitting here with the lovely Amanda Cook, and we are sitting at the Murdock Whitney Mansion in Winchendon, Massachusetts. We're going to talk with some of the volunteers about the history of the house. We're going to go on a little tour, and we're going to look at some paranormal evidence. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Do you feel it? It went through like a path, like a wave. Are you still here with us? What are your intentions? Murder.
Okay, so welcome back. Amanda and I are sitting here with Don O'Neill, who is president of the Winchendon
History and Cultural Center.
Thank you very much. History and Cultural Center. Yeah. We're sitting here in the music room of the beautiful Murdock Whitney Mansion, and we're going to talk a little bit before we get into anything else. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of the house and that kind of thing.
Sure.
So Don, why don't you start off with kind of a basic overview of where we are?
Sure. The house was basically built in a couple of sections. The section we're sitting in now is newer. We say newer because it's 1900. The original house was around 1850, and when it was owned by the same family since it was built by the Murdocks. And as you're touring the house, you'll see the original inhabitants on the staircase. Their only son is on the staircase as well. His name is Georgie. Georgie died at age 7, and he was their only son. So through marriage, one of their daughters, married a Whitney, and hence now it's the Murdock/Whitney house because they have their sons to carry on the Murdock name, which carry on the house. So, but going back to the actual house itself, so 1850, it was built as a beautiful Victorian house, mansard roof and whatnot, similar to like the Gardner one. When Sophia Whitney inherited the house and her husband had just died, she decided she wanted to do some remodeling. She was doing a lot of entertaining and having guests stay here for a long period of time, and unbelievably the house wasn't big enough for her. So they redesigned it all, and most people would, when you put on an addition, you just put an addition on your house. Not the Whitneys. They decided they would pick up the original house, they moved it back, and they added on this whole front wing. And in doing so, they kind of, in the inside of the whole house, they kind of just redid as far as woodwork goes and all that stuff. Excuse me. So it's renovated in 1900, but built in about 1850. Okay. And like I said, the same family owned it until we inherited it in 2001. The last Whitney to live here was Adelaide Whitney. She was a Whitney by marriage. She had no natural born children with her husband Bill. So before Adelaide died, she got together with her niece Meg, and they just decided what they wanted to do with the house. Because in succession, it would have gone to Meg. And Meg was already getting up in years, in her 50s and 60s, and she was like, I don't want this gigantic house. She already had a nice cottage down the street, which was Adelaide's old house, and she was very happy living there. So her and Adelaide decided, well, we don't want it torn down, we don't want it turned into apartments or otherwise ruined. We'll just leave it to the Historical Society, and which was a wonderful thing.
Sure.
So fast forward a little to New Year's Eve of 2000/2001. Adelaide is in failing health, and she does in fact pass away. So the house immediately in succession goes to us. But it took a couple of years to get it ready. In doing so, Meg, she had the floors redone. She put a new heating system in. She redid the plumbing, redid the wiring, painted it, wallpapered it, basically made it turnkey and almost as you see it today. A lot of the furniture in here is original. When Adelaide died, Meg did take a lot of it with her to her house down the street. Meg has since died, so a lot of that furniture has come back. So it should have been on wheels. So yeah, she died a few years ago, and her son happily when he was cleaning out our house, happily donated back a lot of stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
Like this rug here as well, so it's got.
Oh, okay.
So it was just lots of things. He had his own established house, so he really had no need for all the stuff. So, the company that basically I would say built this house is called New England Woodenware, and that's where the Whitneys got all their money.
Okay,
yeah.
that was the next question.
Yeah. And the company still exists today. And when it started out, it was making wooden pails and buckets and wooden things. Now today it makes cardboard boxes, and their headquarters now is in Gardner. But they, I'm sure lots of the cardboard boxes we all use today came from Woodware. Between candy boxes and just regular cardboard shipping things, they do it all. So that's where the money came from and still comes from. It's still a very successful company, been in business for 200 years.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's nice that it still exists, and it's nice the family is still around here. They kind of visit the house, and they call it the big house. And, and they do Christmas parties here, and
the family.
The family does. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it is fun. Yeah, that they come back and they just use it because Meg's son David, he lives down the street, and he is, since his mother died, took a more interest in the house, which his mother always did, just loved it to death. He never really had an interest until more she died. He started hanging around here more, and he just sees everything here and appreciates it more. So in doing so, we have sort of a great benefactor in David now, and he helps us out just like she did, which was wonderful.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, great! Yeah. It's great to have people that are able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's this house everything is huge. For maintenance wise, there's nothing small.
No, I can imagine.
We generally paint the side a year, just to keep. It's just endless, and that's expensive. So if we can't write a grant for it, we need to find money somewhere else. We're not hugely rich, so we need to. It's a challenge finding the funds to keep the place going, but we do. So,
oh, thank you for taking care of this place. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it isn't amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yep, there's 22 rooms, 9 fireplaces, 7 bathrooms, 7 or 8 bedrooms, depending on what you want to call a bedroom. So it's just a whole lot of house for a whole lot of living. But it's basically even though it is so big, it is a livable house. And maybe it's because I'm here so often. I don't feel like when you go into the Newport mansions and like the Breakers, or whatever, it's just gigantic. And how could everybody live here? But here, yeah, you can picture yourself living here.
Yes, I would like to.
Is that kind of like the wood?
I think you're right, because there's a lot more
stone. I don't know whether that makes any sense or not, but
it's a little warmer.
It seems like that makes it a little bit more of a house where people live.
Yep, definitely. And in fact, it's wonderful that none of it ever got painted. It managed to get through the 60s and 70s without lime green and avocado and shag carpeting.
Thank God for small blessings.
Yeah, exactly. So, and whatever the Whitneys did to the house, if they took a piece of molding off, they saved it. So every change they made, we have an attic full of old moldings, which is good if we had to replace something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's great too that the family stays connected.
Definitely.
I know on the ship, one of the blessings we have is old crew members who come back, and people whose fathers were on the ship who donate.
Sure.
Memorabilia, letters home, and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So the idea that he still comes around and he has a real connection to the house is really, really important from a historical standpoint. And just in terms of the house itself.
Yep, it just keeps the ties of the family together. It's really nice.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah,
that's great. Well, thank you for going over some of the history.
You're welcome.
But I did want to ask you though. So we're going to take a tour in a little while.
Yep.
Joe is going to take us on a tour. But there are a couple of things I just wanted to ask about while we're talking. The military room that's upstairs.
Yep.
Does that stuff all have a connection to the families?
None of it. That is all our collection from the Historical Society, which came over from the library. So all stuff that's donated, from townspeople. So it's Winchendon connection, but not Whitney connection.
Okay, all right. Because I was curious, and we've been here a couple of times. In fact, some of the evidence Joe's gonna play for us was one of the nights I was here with him. But I've always been curious about that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stuff up there that's
some really neat.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
And I've just always been curious about whether or not that was part of the house.
Yes, it was all private donations, from our, to our collection. So yeah, the Whitneys were not military people, just businessmen.
All right. No, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. All right. Well, thank you very, very much,
welcome.
Don. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah. Pleasure having you, and
appreciate
enjoy
you bringing
your
us
store.
And we're going to look forward to taking a tour.
Awesome. Great.
Can you, before we go,
Yes.
can you tell people if they want to come out here, if they want to help, if they want to find you somehow?
Oh, absolutely.
How can they do that?
You're www.winchendonhistory.com, or you just look up Murdock Whitney on Google it, and you're going to get a plethora of things. But winchendonhistory.com is our main webpage, or you can email me at info@winchendonhistory.com. And if you want to rent it us for a private investigation or even a private party, we do showers, weddings, whatever. You can have your own murder mystery night here, or whatever you want to do. The house is available for people to rent.
Great. So thanks to Don O'Neill for a little bit of discussion about the history of the house and where we are and how this beautiful location got to be the way it is. So now we're going to talk about more of the paranormal aspect of the house, some of the evidence and stuff. And with us for that is Joe Rainone. Joe's from Paranormal New England.
Yep.
He's a good friend of mine for the most part.
For the most part, I would say we get along okay. We have our disagreements about certain things.
I have some issues with Joe, but we won't get into that right now. We'll stick with the paranormal.
Yeah, let's stick to the game plan. We're here to talk about the paranormal.
I like that.
I like that
So
too.
So you're going to take us on a tour. You got plenty of evidence. I haven't seen all, but I've seen some of it. There's some pretty good stuff there.
Yeah, this house never disappoints. It's
No,
very similar to the ship. It really disappoints. And I've been volunteering now for about a good 4 or 5 years. So this is kind of like my ship. This is like my USS Sailor.
Sure, absolutely.
So I'm very excited to show you what I got.
Great. So let's go. Let's kind of take a walk around. You'll be with Amanda for the most part.
Okay.
But there are a couple of clips that I'll want to get into. So let's get going. What do you think?
Sounds good, Don.
Sounds good.
All right, let's do it. Okay, awesome. So I think, Don, what we'll do is I want to take you into the library, which is adjacent from the music room. But on the way there, we'll cut through the dining room.
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds great.
So I don't know if you want to pan around, but there's quite a few interesting items. Not everything's native to the house.
It's beautiful.
This beautiful Tiffany style lamp. We've had a lot of seances have taken place in this dining room with some pretty spectacular results.
Really?
Yeah, some really cool responses. I think it's like family style.
Sitting around the table.
Sitting around the table. So if you want to follow me into here,
Sure.
This is a little reading area.
Nice.
A lot of this is native to the house.
Old school television.
So this is the main foyer to the home. I think when you guys came in, you guys used the side exit entrance, but this is the main foyer. Over here is the library room, which we can pop in here. Here's one of the rocking horses, which Winchington is known as Toy Town, and the wooden rocking horse is synonymous with Winchington. And this is an original one. There used to be more upstairs. Those got moved over to the Isaac Morris house, but that's for a later episode.
This is really cool.
Yeah, it's a work of art. It's handmade, obviously. But this leads us to our first clip of evidence, which was SLS based,
Cool.
with curator Erica, and she was just standing in front of the cabinet, and somebody was filming her with an SLS, and you see this little, we don't know, little spirit figure, stick figure, kind of was up top over here, and then at some point he decided to pop down onto the ground, and it appears as though he was giving Erica a little goose under her dress.
Oh, like an arm?
It clearly looks like an arm, She didn't feel anything at the time, thankfully, I guess. But when we
or unthankfully.
Or potentially unthankfully.
Sorry.
That'd be her story to tell. But, I was here when they filmed that. And so that's one of the pieces of evidence, you guys can go over and make your own assessment on.
Well, why don't we take a peek at that?
Sounds good.
There's actually one behind your head right now.
Doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Let me see.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
What is that? What does that signify?
There's probably a spirit behind her.
Yes. So it's attached.
Oh, there's two.
It's actually you and two.
Seriously?
Oh, there's another one.
Yep. There's one on the Christmas tree right now.
Next.
So this to me is probably my favorite aspect of the house is the staircase.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Just the woodwork and the little Roman figure guy. And we've actually gotten some really cool activity on the staircase. We actually got some really cool activity on the staircase, and it was one of my very first times investigating the home. We were heading upstairs. We got to somewhere right about here. And we were just kind of looking through the pictures, and we were having a conversation amongst ourselves. And just right in the middle of our conversation, you just hear this cat meow.
Oh.
And we just all looked at each other like, did you just hear and then my co-partner Ashlyn was like, a cat meow? I'm like, yeah, I totally heard a cat meow. So being our first time here, we didn't realize, maybe the house has a pet house cat that they keep,
right.
So I ran down into the kitchen. I talked to Erica and I said, I know this might sound a little crazy, but do you guys have a pet cat that you keep in the house? And she was like, no. And I was like, all right, because the three of us were on the staircase. We definitely heard a cat meow. I said, I have the audio. I can even play it for you. So I went down, I played it for her. She's like, yeah, that's weird. But, and then it was even like, let me ask you this. Has any paranormal team come through here and say that they had any type of cat photos or anything like that? Because I'm wondering, maybe you guys have a ghost cat. And she kind of chuckled. And she's like, I never heard of a ghost cat. And I was like, all right, I had to ask. So maybe about 9 to 12 months later, we came back to do another investigation. And this was before I was volunteering for the house. And I had seen Erica, and she said, oh, Joe, I got something really cool I want to show you. She's like, we had a Halloween party. She's like, check out what one of the guests caught. And she shows me this picture, and there is a black cat nestled right up here on the stairs.
That wasn't there in
That wasn't there.
real life.
And I said to her, I go, Erica, I have the audio that matches that photo. I said, you remember when I was here last time? And I said, we were standing on the stairs. I go, we were maybe 3 or 4 stairs up from where your guest took the picture of the cat. So it's pretty cool,
I love animal activity, so
yeah,
I love that.
We were able to merge my audio with the guest picture of the cat.
Oh, great. And we actually have that, right? So we can take a look at it?
Yeah, I gave that, guys, to you. Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at that.
Cool.
Asserta. I got it from
Look at those cats.
George.
Did you hear that cat?
That was
So this is the music room.
Wow. This room is beautiful.
And a lot of, again, the artifacts are original to the home.
Great.
I got
love the chandeliers.
Gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't see stuff like that.
I'm not gonna touch it.
But over here, we had a very interesting phenomenon take place. Dan Class was here. He was doing an Estes method. You're familiar with the Estes method, right?
Yeah.
So they were taking some still photos of Dan with his headphones on. And evidence review, we actually caught Georgie Murdock.
Like a picture of him.
Yes. So he, being a little boy, 8-year-old little boy, was probably pretty mischievous, wanted to know what was going on. And you kind of see him just giving one of these. Like, what's going on? You know?
That is
and
terrifying.
He was a little bit higher up in the door frame. And if you'll notice, we have a love seat behind the wall here. So I know my kids, you know, when they're in that age, they're always on top of the furniture and stuff. So we're wondering, was Georgie standing on this when you decided to give it a little peek around?
Checking out what everyone was doing, huh?
Checking out what everybody was doing.
That is super cool. So there was a chair here, and he was kind of peeking around the corner.
He's just kind of giving one of those little around the corners.
Oh, wow.
So I have that for you guys to go over as well.
Great. Yeah, we'd love to take a look at that picture. It's an awesome picture.
Awesome. Sounds good. So Dawn, I was in this room with Amanda, and we talked about Georgie, and I wanted you to come into the room because it's something I wanted to talk to you about that took place in this room.
Okay.
So I was running a portal session over here in this corner. There was a pedestal next to the piano, and we didn't get a lot through it, but clear as day, the name Emmett came out on the portal. Emmett.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can't tie the name back to any specific Murdock or servant, but the name Emmett came through. And you know what's so weird about it was I in all honesty, when you said, Joe, I need some, footage from the house, that portal session was from probably about 4 years ago that I had.
Was it really
it was that long ago, right? So I had that on my hard drive. And then all of a sudden it hit me. The last time you and I were here, we were up in the military room. Emmett came through the portal.
Right, that's right.
4 years later.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's take a look. You have this thing.
Yeah,
So
I got this clip.
Let's take a look at this for context.
Perfect.
Right?
Yep.
And then we'll take a walk up to the military room. We'll show everybody, everybody to see that room anyway.
It's a great room, and I got 2 really good pieces of evidence from that room. So yeah, I say we head up there.
Perfect. All right, well, let's do this first, and then we'll head upstairs.
Sounds good.
What's your name? What was that? Bennett?
Help. Clear as day. What do you need help with?
Why are you saying help? Can you speak clearer? How many are here?
Dawn, here we are back in the military room.
I love this room.
Yeah, this is a great room. So by far, this is my favorite room in the house.
Yeah, I love this room.
Yeah, I really, I wasn't in the military. I know you served. I want to thank you for your service. But this room definitely resonates with me for, I don't know why. I just feel is the energy, you know, and I don't think it's a bad energy either.
No, oh, you know? I've never gotten a bad.
Yeah, me
no,
either.
I definitely love this room.
Me either. But I know you'll never forget the portal session we ran.
No, that was a good night. We had a good time.
Yeah, we had a good time. We had a good time. So again, when you view the clip I sent, we were running the portal. It was right here on the counter.
Yep. And
one of the very first things to come through was the name Emmett.
Yep. As soon as you said it downstairs, I knew, I couldn't remember where, but I knew that was.
Yeah. Exactly. So now we've had the name Emmett come through twice, and one that was so long ago I totally forgot about it.
Right.
So I think, you know, Erica, Dawn, and myself, I think we really got to research that, see if we can tie that back.
When a name comes multiple times without knowing that there's any kind of connection. That's interesting. There must be something. Right.
Okay. And then I don't know if you remember, but further into that portal session, we had James Anito with us, the demonologist, and he's
oh, I know what he is.
The pinhead incident, right?
Yeah.
So James was like, you know, I do buy into ITC, but what I really want, you need to convince me my name needs to come through. So for some reason, James wanted to elicit some type of response throughout the room, and I think it was like 10 heart, you know, or something to that effect. And then you just hear clear as day come through the portal. Pinhead. Everybody heard it. It was like no denying it. It was probably one of the funniest. I mean, we couldn't stop laughing the whole night because of it.
Is that on this clip too?
It is. You'll see it on the clip. It was a great one. Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at that.
All right, let's take a look at that one. All right.
The Jim.
Did you say Jim?
I heard Emmett. Didn't we get that name earlier?
Yeah, we did.
Before.
Right?
Emmett, are you in here with us? Was that the servant's name? You asked what was the servant's name?
Yeah.
And it said Emmett.
Yeah.
Emmett, are you here?
If you're dead, can you say the word dead, please?
Lieutenant, up! Pinhead.
James. It said Pinhead.
He definitely said
He knows you.
That was good. That was so clearly Pinhead.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
Usually it's geared toward me.
Pinhead.
So, Dawn, the second piece of evidence I want to talk about in the military room came. So we had donated. My team had donated this jacket, and after I had hung it there, you know, I just wanted to see if any of the spirits in the house were happy that I donated the jacket.
Sure.
Maybe even the soldier who potentially owned the jacket. And I just asked, "Are you happy that I donated the jacket?" Mm-hmm. And you'll hear on the clip the response.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's give it a listen.
Yeah, let's give it a listen.
Great.
Is the owner of the jacket that I donated here to this museum, is the owner showing up right now? I believe you were in the Army, and you were a gunner in the Army. Are you happy that I donated your coat to this house? And you happy with that? Can you say the word happy into that little red light? Nice and loud? All right, thank you.
So probably my second favorite room is why I wanted to bring you into this room. Dawn was in my first favorite room, the military room. I wanted you, Amanda, to come and be into my second favorite room, the chapel room.
Exciting.
And very exciting, and I'm sure when you get in there, you'll see why.
Great.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. I love this room.
It's such a cool room.
Such a cool room. I mean, look at this. So cool.
The little tea lights.
Super cool.
Yeah.
This I'm not sure about.
So this room probably got one of the best EVPs I've gotten in any location.
Really?
Yeah. Years ago, somebody asked a psychic, you know, what's the story with religion? You know, is there religion when you die? Is religion still a thing? And it always kind of struck me like, geez, I wonder, you know, that was a great question. And I just often wondered, you know, what happens when we die? Is there religion after we die? So
right.
I asked that exact question in an EVP session, and we got a Class A EVP response to that question. And I'm very excited for you guys to play it and tell me what you think.
That would be great. Yeah, I'm super excited to hear that. Why don't we check that out?
Sounds good. So I've heard people say that when you die and you go to heaven, there's no religion in heaven. Is that true? There's something there. There's something there.
No belief. So he says, I think it's no belief.
You have to believe.
There you go.
You have to believe. That's what it's saying.
Okay.
Wow.
Because I kept hearing believe. I think.
So Amanda, before we leave, there is one other thing that I'd like to go over with you guys because it's really, really cool. It was actually taken from a guest, so it didn't come from my team. But during a ghost hunt event, one of the guests, she was just taking a picture from the doorway, and you can see the start of what potentially could be a full-blown apparition, but it's from the knees down. It was right around here.
Oh, wow. Just the knees down?
From the kneecaps down. There's nothing above it, but you can still see the people in the background.
Can you tell if it's like male or female? Like, or is it just legs?
It's legs and feet, shoes. To me, I would guess male just from the size of it, but right. It's anybody's guess.
Right.
But I'll let you guys review it and you guys make the determination what you think.
That would be great. Yeah, that's super interesting. So we can take a peek at that one too.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
All right.
So one night, 4 volunteers, we were sitting around in the kitchen, just kind of hanging out. We had an event and it had gotten canceled. and we decided to just come and eat our snacks anyway. And all of a sudden we started hearing music. I mean, it sounded like a drum beat coming from upstairs on the second floor, right at the top of the staircase. And, it went on for about 20 minutes. None of these particular volunteers, none of us do paranormal investigations. So we huddled in the kitchen like a bunch of chickens, just listening to this and sort of on the verge of panic. But, really, as it went on, it just sounded very much like a repetitive beat. We couldn't think of any logical explanation for what was causing the noise. So we did manage to catch a quick video clip shooting up the stairs to record the noise. But like I said, it went on like that for about 20 minutes, just this repetitive beat over and over. And then as quickly as it started, it just stopped. And that was it. And I've been volunteering here for 8 years now. That's the first and only time I've ever heard anything like that in this house.
I'd love to hear that. Okay, well, let's play that. We'll take a look at it. And,
yeah, absolutely.
See what we think.
Let's do it.
Great. Thank you very much. Okay, so thanks very much for joining us for this episode. It was we had a great time here in Winchendon. Thanks very much to Don O'Neill and Erica and Joe Rainone. And if you want to learn more about the Murdock Whitney house, then Don gave you the information. WinchendonHistory.org, I believe, is the website. We are the Greater Boston Paranormal Associates. You can find us pretty much anywhere, right? Yep. Greater Boston Paranormal Associates on Facebook, USS Salem Paranormal Experience on Facebook. Our website is thegbpa.com, so you can look us up pretty much anywhere. We have our final public investigation of the season is November 12th aboard USS Salem. You'd be crazy to miss it, frankly, so you can go to uss-salem.org and get tickets there. Every nickel that we raise on these events goes directly to the United States Naval Shipbuilding Museum and the USS Salem. So you're helping a good cause, whether you like us or not.
That's true.
We don't guarantee activity, but we guarantee a great time. So why don't you join us? And having said that, I guess we're done. Amanda, what do you got? Anything? You want to say anything?
No, I think that today was great, and we look forward to the next episode.
Sounds good. Join us next time. Take care.